Nearly 70% of older adults regularly consume certain nuts that have been found to subtly fuel inflammation within the body. This can lead to accelerated muscle breakdown, increased levels of harmful cholesterol, and a gradual decline in energy, making everyday activities like walking, climbing stairs, and maintaining independence in later years more challenging. Most alarmingly, these are often the very nuts that are heavily marketed as heart-healthy, keto-friendly, and packed with beneficial fats. However, behind the appealing marketing, some of these nuts may be silently triggering inflammation that exacerbates joint pain, negatively affects cholesterol levels, puts extra strain on the heart, and even impairs memory and brain health over time. There is one nut in particular that has been linked to elevated blood sugar levels, increased diabetes risk, and decreased bone strength when consumed in excess. Unfortunately, it is commonly found in snack packs for seniors and is still recommended in popular low-carb diets. Ahead, we will review the top 5 worst nuts for seniors, starting with those that cause the most silent and subtle damage. We will also cover the top 5 best and most protective alternatives that truly support brain health, reduce inflammation, and help maintain muscle strength. It's especially important to watch until the end, as nut number 4 contains a hidden compound that few people talk about, but poses a significant health threat. So let's start with the nuts to avoid and understand why. First on the list is bitter almonds. Almonds are often hailed as a healthy and heart-friendly snack, but one particular variety can be surprisingly dangerous, especially when raw. While regular almonds are a safe and valuable source of nutrients, bitter almonds harbor a hidden danger due to their amygdalin content. This natural compound converts to cyanide when digested, a highly toxic substance that blocks the body's ability to use oxygen. This is where the serious threat lies. Consuming just a few raw bitter almonds, around 4 to 5, can trigger unpleasant symptoms like lightheadedness, nausea, and disorientation. Eating more than 10 can lead to severe consequences, requiring emergency medical attention. As we age, the body's detoxification abilities, including its capacity to break down cyanide, decrease, making older adults particularly susceptible to its effects, even in small doses. The older a person is, the greater the risk of poisoning. Heating or any other processing of bitter almonds neutralizes the danger. However, consuming them raw, as some questionable natural health experts suggest, is not just risky, but can be downright harmful. What makes this situation even more concerning is that bitter almonds are sometimes sold disguised as apricot kernels or promoted as a detoxifying agent. However, cyanide does not have any detoxifying properties. For older adults looking to maintain their mental clarity, energy, and independence, it is best to avoid these nuts altogether. However, bitter almonds are not the only nut that can pose a risk. Next, we'll discuss a nut that is practically a kitchen staple, a popular ingredient in snacks and spreads. We are talking about peanuts. Despite their widespread appeal, they can silently trigger inflammation within the body and are prone to a dangerous contamination that most consumers are completely unaware of. Peanuts may seem like a harmless and affordable snack found in trail mixes, protein bars, or spread on toast. However, for older adults, this common food may do more harm than good. Surprisingly, peanuts are not actually nuts. They belong to the legume family and grow underground, making them particularly vulnerable to contamination by aflatoxins, harmful toxins produced by mold. Long-term exposure to these toxins has been linked to cell damage, weakened immune function, and an increased risk of certain cancers. As people age, their bodies become less efficient at eliminating toxins. Even if peanut consumption did not cause any concerns in the past, over time, it can contribute to hidden liver stress, unexplained fatigue, and subtle inflammatory processes. It's worth noting that peanuts are also high in omega-6 fatty acids. While a small amount of these acids is necessary for the body, an excess can disrupt the balance with omega-3s, leading to widespread inflammation, a key factor in joint pain, impaired circulation, and memory decline. Particular caution should be exercised by individuals over 65 who are taking anticoagulants. Peanuts contain vitamin K, which can interact with these medications, increasing the risk of dangerous blood clots or unexpected bleeding. Even peanut butter is not an exception. Many commercial options contain added sugar, salt, and hydrogenated oils, a combination that can subtly raise blood pressure and negatively impact heart health over time. Thus, while peanuts may seem like a convenient source of protein, they can subtly undermine energy, mobility, and overall well-being for older adults. Macadamia nuts, beyond their delicate and exquisite flavor, can subtly contribute to muscle loss and slowed recovery in older individuals. These nuts are high in fats but low in protein and fiber, two essential nutrients needed to maintain strength and muscle health. The lack of these substances makes tissue repair difficult, leading to weakening of the legs, increased recovery time, and gradual loss of strength. The high-calorie content of macadamia nuts also increases the likelihood of weight gain, especially with a sedentary lifestyle. Excess weight puts additional stress on aging joints, making it difficult to walk, climb stairs, and maintain mobility. Additionally, many store-bought macadamia nuts are roasted in pro-inflammatory oils and sprinkled with salt, ingredients known to exacerbate joint stiffness and impair circulation, especially in older adults. However, macadamia nuts are not the only hidden danger. There is another, less noticeable nut that looks harmless, but can interact with medications being taken, even without a person's knowledge. We are talking about pine nuts. Pine nuts, often adorning exquisite salads or found in rich pesto, seem small and harmless. However, for people in mature age, these tiny seeds can pose hidden risks that are easy to underestimate. One of the serious problems lies in their ability to interact with common medications. Pine nuts can affect the metabolism of drugs intended to regulate blood pressure, statins that lower cholesterol, and even medications used to maintain circulation and heart rate. Such interactions can lead to dangerous spikes in blood pressure, heart rhythm disorders, or unexpected blood clotting problems, especially in older adults taking multiple medications simultaneously. A clinical review published in the journal Frontiers in Nutrition in 2022 noted that pinolenic acid found in pine nuts can alter the process of metabolism of certain drugs in the liver, which can disrupt treatment plans, even if no one suspects it. Of particular concern is the fact that pine nuts are rarely mentioned in lists of dietary precautions. Most people, including doctors, do not tend to consider them as a potential problem. However, that's not all. Eating pine nuts has been linked to a strange condition known as pine mouth. After eating them, a persistent metallic or bitter taste appears, which makes any food or drink seem strange for days or even weeks. For older adults who are already experiencing problems with appetite or weight loss, this can lead to reduced food intake, weakening of the body, and slowed recovery from illnesses or injuries. In addition, pine nuts are rich in polyunsaturated fats, which are prone to rapid oxidation. During oxidation, these fats release harmful compounds that can accelerate brain aging, cause clogged arteries, and increase joint pain. Moreover, the older the nuts, the more pronounced the negative effect. Finally, due to their small and slippery shape, pine nuts can pose a choking hazard, especially for people suffering from dry mouth or swallowing problems, which are common in old age. Thus, despite the fact that pine nuts seem delicate and nutritious, they can subtly put the safety of medications taken, brain health, and appetite at risk, all in one small bite. However, not all gifts of nature enclosed in a shell pose a threat. There is one outstanding nut capable of beneficially influencing the body, supporting cognitive functions, strengthening the cardiovascular system, and preserving muscle strength in old age. This is a product that should take a worthy place in the diet of every elderly person. But, unfortunately, there is another very popular nut, distinguished by its delicate texture and pleasant creamy taste, which, paradoxically, can harm bone tissue. We are talking about cashews. Cashews, which seem like an ideal snack, nutritious and often recommended as a heart-healthy product, can subtly weaken the body's foundation, the bones, especially in the elderly. Many do not know that cashews are rich in oxalates, compounds that bind to calcium in the intestines, preventing its absorption. A lack of available calcium leads to a gradual weakening of bones. This is especially dangerous in old age, when bone density naturally decreases, and even a small calcium deficiency can increase the risk of fractures, impaired balance, and loss of mobility, which in turn can lead to long-term recovery or even falls that can change life. But that's not all. Cashews also contain more carbohydrates than most other nuts, which can cause sharp spikes in blood sugar levels, which is especially dangerous for elderly people suffering from prediabetes or diabetes. Over time, such spikes can damage small blood vessels in the legs, causing impaired circulation, numbness, and slow wound healing. The risk associated with eating cashews is not limited to just bones. These nuts can increase the likelihood of kidney stone formation, as oxalates that block calcium absorption can crystallize in the kidneys, especially with insufficient fluid intake, which is common in the elderly. Finally, it is worth mentioning the texture of cashews. The smooth and dense consistency of these nuts can pose a choking hazard for people suffering from dry mouth or reduced chewing function, common problems in old tots. Age. Despite their seeming harmlessness and exquisite taste, cashews harbor a hidden threat to health. This nut is capable of subtly undermining bone tissue, harming the nervous system, creating problems with the kidneys, and causing other undesirable consequences. Older people who are striving for a healthy diet should exclude cashews from their diet. However, do not despair, because nature is generous with beneficial gifts. Along with harmful nuts, there are those that can strengthen health and restore lost strength. Among them, the chestnut stands out in particular, a storehouse of compounds that improve memory, protect the heart, and support the strength of legs in old age. The chestnut favorably differs from most other nuts in its low fat content and high content of complex carbohydrates and fiber. This means that it provides the body with sustained energy, gives a feeling of satiety, and supports healthy digestion, without creating a feeling of heaviness. In addition, chestnuts are rich in vitamin C, a rare guest in the nut kingdom, as well as vitamin E and antioxidants, which help reduce inflammation and protect muscle tissue from age-related changes. Studies show that eating chestnuts helps normalize blood sugar levels and reduce levels of bad LDL cholesterol, making them a valuable product for elderly people who care about heart health and metabolism. Chestnuts can be roasted, ground into flour, or added to rice and pasta dishes. It is important to remember that chestnuts are more perishable than other nuts, so they should be stored in an airtight container in the refrigerator. Personally, I like to roast chestnuts and add them to warm cereals. It's delicious and incredibly healthy. Almonds are not just a crunchy snack, but a valuable ally in maintaining health in old age. Rich in calcium, magnesium, and healthy fats, almonds have a beneficial effect on bones, muscles, heart, and memory. With age, bone density naturally decreases, increasing the risk of osteoporosis. Almonds, thanks to their high calcium content, help strengthen bones, and magnesium ensures the delivery of calcium exactly where it is needed, to bone tissue, and not to arteries. But almonds are not only good for bones, they also help preserve muscle mass thanks to a combination of plant protein and monounsaturated fats. This is especially important for elderly people, as loss of muscle mass is one of the main causes of weakness, instability, and increased risk of falls. Long-term studies published in the Journal of Nutrition have shown that elderly people who regularly consume nuts such as almonds demonstrate better indicators of physical function and lower levels of weakness compared to those who do not include nuts in their diet. Almonds are not just a treat, they're a valuable source of fiber, helping to alleviate constipation and bloating, two common ailments that sap energy and mobility. Almonds' heart-healthy properties, thanks to their beneficial fats, help lower bad LDL cholesterol, ensuring optimal blood flow and reducing the risk of strokes. Notably, the brown skin of almonds is rich in antioxidants, playing a vital role in protecting the brain from age-related changes, supporting cognitive functions like memory and mental clarity for years to come. Thus, almonds are a versatile food, benefiting the skeletal system, muscle tissue, cardiovascular system, digestion, and brain activity. However, almonds are just the first step into the world of beneficial nuts. The next entry on this list not only has a positive impact on the body, but also acts as a powerful stimulant for mental activity, helping to speed up thinking and improve memory. We're talking about walnuts. The appearance of walnuts resembling a miniature brain is no coincidence. Nature seems to hint at their special role in maintaining brain health, especially in old age. The secret lies in alpha-linolenic acid, ALA, a plant-based omega-3 fatty acid abundant in walnuts. ALA plays a key role in maintaining the elasticity and health of brain cells, positively affecting memory, concentration, and coordination as we age. In addition to structural support, walnuts provide reliable brain protection. Thanks to their high polyphenol content, they act as natural barriers against inflammation and oxidative stress in the brain. The uniqueness of these antioxidants lies in their ability to cross the blood-brain barrier and protect neurons from damage that leads to memory impairment and cognitive decline. A study published in the Journal of Nutrition, Health and Aging showed that older adults who regularly consumed walnuts performed better on memory and information processing tests compared to those who did not include them in their diet. This demonstrates the real benefit of this habit for cognitive function. The benefits of walnuts extend far beyond mental activity. They contain arginine, an amino acid that promotes healthy blood flow, providing muscles with the oxygen needed to maintain strength, balance, and stability. In addition, walnuts are a natural source of melatonin, a hormone that improves sleep quality, which in turn has a positive effect on energy, mental clarity, and overall mood. A small handful of walnuts consumed several times a week can support cognitive function, motor activity, and sleep quality. Brazil nuts may not be as popular as almonds or walnuts, but they have a powerful effect on hormonal health and physical strength. These nuts are rich in selenium, a mineral essential for healthy thyroid function, which plays a key role in regulating metabolism, energy levels, and maintaining muscle mass, aspects that become increasingly important with age. Just 1 or 2 Brazil nuts a day is enough to meet the body's need for selenium. Studies show that older adults with healthy thyroid levels experience improved muscle mass, coordination, and immune function. Brazil nuts also promote testosterone production in both men and women, helping to combat age-related loss of muscle strength and bone density. It is recommended to consume raw, unsalted Brazil nuts, not exceeding a dose of 2 to 3 nuts per day, to avoid excess selenium. Pistachios are a nut with hidden power, supporting heart health and visual acuity. Contrary to the common belief that salt should be avoided with age, pistachios demonstrate that not all nuts are equally beneficial, especially when it comes to maintaining mobility, heart health, and vision. Unlike salty snacks that raise blood pressure, pistachios have the opposite effect thanks to their high potassium content, which counteracts the effects of sodium and promotes smoother blood flow. This ensures better circulation, heart health, and leg strength. Pistachios also contain lutein and zeaxanthin, important carotenoids that protect the eyes from age-related macular degeneration. Maintaining clear vision helps prevent falls, improves coordination, and maintains independence. Like other heart-healthy nuts, pistachios contain a balanced amount of healthy fats and plant-based protein, providing sustained energy. Furthermore, the process of opening pistachio shells encourages mindful eating and supports hand-eye coordination and fine motor skills. A clinical study published in the journal Hypertension revealed that adults who consumed pistachios daily experienced a significant reduction in systolic blood pressure due to the potassium and antioxidants they contain. Incorporating beneficial nuts into one's diet can have a positive impact on physical strength, cognitive function, and overall energy levels. However, it's important to understand that nutrition is not always the sole determinant of health. If someone is looking to improve their visual function, it is recommended to consult specialized video materials that thoroughly examine the relevant aspects.